Welcome to this live Conquest AMA, everyone. The white paper for CropBytes Conquest is out, and the community chats are filled with messages from players who want to know more. So this is your chance to clear all your doubts. We've also been doing our comics series, picking up questions, but we have a few people over here who we'll be chatting with and just uncovering a lot of things about Conquest. We'll be diving right into it, but before that, hey everyone, I'm Abhishek, and if you've been in the community for a while now, you'd recognize my voice. I'm a marketing manager with the team, and I've been hosting these spaces for a while now. I'm always excited about these calls, connecting with the community because the CropBytes community is really a really awesome place to be. And today, I have a couple of gentlemen with me on the stage that we'll be chatting with. We have Anish and Chinmay. Um, why don't you guys give us an intro and let us know what you do in CropBytes and a little bit about your experience in this space. And after that, I will have some fun questions so that we can get to know you guys even better. Chinmay, let's start with you.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much, guys. So I think I am new to the community, and a lot of you guys won't know me much. But since I'm here, I'm from the marketing team, and I'm really excited to be a part of CropBytes Conquest and CropBytes Farms. So it's a wonderful ecosystem that the CropBytes team has created over the last 6 years. And I think my previous experience in marketing in Web3 and the overall experience with the games, I think we can bring a lot out from both these games and the whole ecosystem. We are all here to actually provide a perfect gaming experience, to all our players, to our community, and we have been working really hard to actually provide and deliver everything that we wanted to with our new game. So yeah, hold tight. There are a lot of things to uncover today. We'll talk a lot about the origin of the conquest and the idea behind it. This is a team AMA, so you guys can really enjoy the mindset and the thought process went behind into creating this new game. So I guess, yeah, sit back, relax, and let's get started.
So that Chinmay, Anish, you want to go next?
Yeah, sure, Abhishek. Hi, guys. Actually, I'm feeling pretty good to talk with everyone. So, a little bit about me. I've been in gaming industry for the
Anish, sorry to cut you off. Could you just come closer to the mic? I think the volume was a bit low.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, perfect. Okay,
Clear?
thanks.
Perfect. Okay. So, a little bit about me. Basically, I'm in the gaming industry for the past 5.5 years. And I have built a lot of racing games and multiplayer games. I've been in development team as well as I've been in the design team. And for the past 4 years, I've been designing games, mobile games plus PC plus PS4. So I have a lot of experience in designing games. And this is the first time second time I think I'm engaging with the community. I'm really looking forward to talk about the game a lot. I'm just waiting for it. And with our entire team, so we used to talk a lot about our upcoming game. It's really feeling good to talk inside the community about the game. Yeah, let's see.
Awesome. And let me just tell you guys that this is a very important Q&A session with the CropBytes team. Where we'll really talk about the game development, the thought process that went into the making, the vision of the game, and we'll talk about the game and the gameplay itself. CropBytes is a game development team working since 2018 to provide a wonderful gaming experience. Accepting all the challenges of Web3 and evolving through tough times. The game development team has also evolved, and that's what we are here to talk about today. It's all about the team and the idea behind the new game. Conquest. the CropByte Conquest new game has really the potential. It is the first Web3 play to earn, player versus player battle strategy game and world building game. It is a strategy game set in the Nova Island universe where players emerge into battle and world building. So now when we hear, words like player versus player, P2N, you think about what it actually is about, right? So Anish, like I would like to ask you, why don't you go into the PvP game style and especially turn-based PvP game style in general and talk about the game style and explain what the style is all about.
Yeah, sure, sure. So, basically, one a few reasons that we picked this turn-based PvP because we know it's have a high potential. Some of the reason is like, let's think about it. Okay, so it's a when it comes to turn-based, it's easy to predict someone's move, and you feel really good about making. You predicted the move and you made a move and you made a wonderful winning on these moves. You feel really good. But chess is like something like chess, but chess requires number of permutations, right? It's a bit complex. But the thing is, in other turn-based or other the trading card methods, they are like they look simple, insanely simple. I mean, like it's so simple and insanely fun. That's uh, and it looks simple, but it's not. It's just a deceptive method of saying it's simple. There are a lot of complex layers in it. When players each time they play thinking like, oh, I can beat this guy, I can break this, and I can make this move. It's like we call this emergent, which means we have a particular set of moves that we want to play, but somehow they'll get a random cards or random spells they can use and suddenly turn this whole table up. Like that's what all PvP does, right? Like
Uh,
we have
Anish,
we have
sorry to cut you off. I think I'm getting a lot of DMs about not being able to hear you too well. Can you speak a bit slowly but a bit more loud?
yeah, sure. Can you hear me
Sorry.
now? Is it
Yeah,
is it fine? Yeah, it's fine. Oh, so sorry about that. So basically, turn-based PvP, right? Like player with real time, it's all about how fast you react. Like it's like, okay, is my crosshair in right? Is my reaction in right? As the age grows, we all know it's very hard to attain, and you don't have the time to sit and precisely practice on your moves, on your spawns, or your ammos. Like a lot of things are there. But when it comes to turn-based PvP, in spite of your age, your time, or anything, you just have to think for a specific period of session, which means like 7 minutes or 3 minutes. You may able to calculate a lot of pre-moves. You can understand the game a lot. It's simple, and each time you win an opponent or each time you make a perfect decision, it's insanely fun. It's all about fun. So one of the famous games we can say is like Hearthstone, which has a very fast-paced strategy card game. And what we are trying to bring here is like in the turn base that we are trying, it's like the satisfactory conclusion. Oh, I made a amazing decision. I got the right cards. All my superheroes are really good, and I understood the game how it works, and I made a decision and I won. Like that satisfaction conclusion when it comes to this PvPs. So some of the real time battle that we are looking for, like shooting one another. So no matter how good you shoot, sometimes due to some lags or all the other factors, you may not feel that okay, I did the right thing, or it'll be like insanely skill level. But this sort of game, maybe it's turn based. People say it's not addictive, but the thing is, people who try turn based, they know it's actually fun and insanely addictive. Like it's crazy. So that's the one of the reason we picked, and it's a bit suit for our superheroes. Think about it. Like our superheroes actually helps the farm, and they have varieties of powers, and it's like an RPG just living in our backyard. So how do you use this RPG that is actually connected in your backyard? So think about it. Then you take all these elements, and if you want to make a like a very complex game, but in a very simple way. So player thinks it's simple, but it should be very complex in other layers. Then you feel victorious when you make a deciding move. That's what we want. We want the players to experience. We want the players to have this like strategic thinking, and we want to make them strategic moves, and they have to tell us, "Oh, this thing turned the whole table around when I'm winning." So these are the things we want for them. So that's the one of the reason we picked PvP in terms of turn-based battle. I think we have a lot of areas in that to explore, and we will be moving on those lines.
Anish, I also had a question for you. So, um, could you elaborate on how these PvP battles work in CropBytes Conquest, and what sort of strategies would a player employ um, uh, going about playing this game?
Okay, so when it comes to like our thing and strategies, right? Like our set of PvP and how superheroes are connected to the PvP. So we have a lot of layers. So I'll give you a very glimpse of like thinking that players they can think about. Like when they think about the game, what are the main points they can actually do inside the game? For instance, who gets to move and where is the position, where is the other superhero is, and how my moves are affecting the other guy, and what is my limit currently, what is the mana I have, I mean, which means how much energy I have, I can use the spell. And we have a unique spell system, which means it's like an RPG, but each of the spell will have a six set of categories inside this. It's like a complex, it's not a complex, it's a simple layer that players actually can easily understand, because it's like when it comes to spell, you can relate with a lot of other games like Dota or League of Legends, which is very common in Asian demographic. So players can relate a lot when it comes to a spell system. And our unique card system, it's like a fusion. So we know we have a very six type of elements inside the game playing around, and we want to make the game balanced, like transitive and intransitive. So when it comes to transitive, we always say A is bigger than B, and B is bigger than C, and A is always bigger than C. So what we here trying to do is A is bigger than B, and it's like a rock paper scissors, and B is bigger than C, but C is bigger than A. It's like a each element has its own flaws. We actually try to bring these elements because we already have six type of elements we are trying to bring, like a Pokemon kind of thing. So you may able to understand. So when I understood the whole opponent element, and I know what element I hold, and what position I am in, and what tile I am in, and what type of cards I have to take, and how much energy I have to spend to move the superhero to get these type of cards, and what these cards has to offer me. So this type of cards are pretty random in the game, which means we are offering four set of randomness inside the game for a little bit of fair play, because we all know each one of, comes with a very pros and cons when it comes to PvP, and sometimes player will feel like it's so unfair, and we don't want that, right? Like you spend a lot of time improving your skill and strategic thinking, and somewhere you get an impossible card that you cannot play, or the enemy played you and disabled you for a couple of turns, and you cannot move for a couple of turns. You feel like very unfair. So we kind of improving a lot of our methods to give you the fairest card that you can possibly play, and unique card system we are designing. And each of these cards have an offensive and defensive and support utilities. So you can actually think, or what should I do now? Should I go very offensive on him, or should I go defensive on him, or should I let him play the first move and wait for what I can do? So your each position. So you can strategize in a lot of ways. Like I said, it's very simple game. You just have to eliminate the other guy. That's all. You have very six grid, and you feel like you have three powers, and each time the game is gonna reward you energy as you go up, which means you have to spend the energy to uh, take him down. That's all. And we imply, okay, it looks simple. All I have to move and kill this guy, right? So basically, that's how simple it is. But the thing is, each time you play, you understood there are a lot of variation in the game. So I feel like he's down, but he may not down. He will hold the most interesting cards you can ever see, or interesting spells that he can actually play on the games. So that's all. Like there are a lot of strategies, and we will encourage all in from even the alpha testing and the closed beta testing that we are going to launch. We want really player feedbacks on a lot of spells, or how the spells actually encourages you to play. We're going to record a lot of games, and we're going to analyze, and we're going to iterate and play test on these strategies, so we know exactly where in the strategies players are actually getting into. Like I said, at the end of the day, it's all about the players. It's not about um, the game is how much the game is rewarding the other. It's about how players are taking all this decision, and are they getting this conclusion they want, satisfaction? Are they winning the game? Are they losing? Are they okay with the decision they made and they lost? The trade-off that we are looking for. So we are always going to work on these experience to make sure they get 100% of it. So it's like the fair and balanced gameplay that we are looking for. So strategy is something that they have to play, and they can emerge a lot of variation. Whatever I said is just a tiny fraction of what the game can offer, which means each card system have a lot of permutation. We are not actually revealing the number of cards that are there and number of spells that actually is, but we can give you a fair number right now. Let's say in the newsletter, I think we have 700 to 100 number of card sets. So you may able to understand how many permutations the game can go. It's not like you pick a game and you play for one day and you understood the game completely. It's not. There are a lot of superheroes, a lot of variations, a lot of uh, strength and weakness to a certain superhero. So if you're able to get it everything right, which means you are a highly skilled player. And we believe it takes time to grind all those things to understand your PvP. And if you're really good at it, the entire community will know you are really good at it. So it's about strategy, right? So yeah. So basically, that's the simple objective we have.
Awesome, awesome. So basically, the objective is simple, that you just have to kill your opponent or defeat him. But it has layers. It has layers of cards. It has layers of spells. Each skill set you develop after every game, and the strategy that you actually go with. So there can be multiple or millions of patterns of strategy that you can go with, or even if you are a strong player you can still lose, or even if you are a weak player you can still win. It's all about, I think, what's your next turn would be, and what spell or what card do you use,
Yeah.
what move do you use, basically. So
Yeah. Like
I
it's
think,
like
yeah, I think
how much you
you talked about fairness.
yeah, it's like how much
Please
you
please go
predict
ahead.
your opponent. Yeah, how much you predict your opponent. Chess is all about prediction, right? Like you cannot predict certain informations, but you understood the thought behind it. So if you really predict him and you got him right, you get this amazing feel. Yeah, it's that one feel, that one satisfaction is the most important part in every PvP. And if you're able to close him exactly, like finish him completely, that's what turn-based battle is about. Like on your turn, can you able to finish it? Like you may not, if you're not able to finish it, you will be in the hang of it, saying, What if he finished it?" Like you will be devastated, right? You are about to finish him, but you just waited one turn and you got destroyed. So like the trade-off of what we are looking for in that level, and we believe uh, it's insanely addictive when it comes to this kind of decision they are making, and their own thought process. It's not about what the game is offering. It's about a number of set of possibility space the game is offering, and players actually think about these possibility space, and they get the right formula in that certain areas. That's all we want.
Right, right. So we provide the right amount of thrill when you play the game.
Yeah.
Perfect. So now that we have gone a little bit into the turn-based PvP game style, and also how you can actually use the PvP game style in Conquest, let's talk about the storyline behind the game. Anish, what was the thought process behind the game, and how did the storyline emerge?
So, this is a very complex question. See, no, complex in terms of the thought process behind this whole story was we have a lot of superheroes, right? So we know we have to provide the community with a really good superhero game. So we were thinking we had got inspiration from many games, like movies, games, and especially movies. Some important like lines in the movies. We got inspired by animes, and we got inspired from a lot of series. It's a lot of variation. So we need to give a right amount of motivation for them to play when it comes to a storyline, right? So when the team was writing the story, we all know. So this is a it's like a world, and there is a in the conquest world there is something there, and you have to build the world. So how do you build the world? Like you have to feel like god-like entity to build the world, right? So that's why we thought to build a world and a story behind it. And to form the story of hearts, we kind of like the hearts too much. Like it's like a cute creatures that actually lives in harmony, and they don't do anything wrong to anyone, but something bad happened to them, like a catastrophe, like a big event actually. So actually destroy their peace, but somehow their elders made them survive. But when you see in our forming world, right, we have this godlike entity, uh, better than human, who actually help the farms to grow. They have their own superpowers, but uh, you can relate how this. We don't have a origin story for the superheroes, and also it's very good to have some superior power helping like a small set of cute people, right? And we want to connect the player's experience with the world building. So we thought, okay, let's the player fight for these hearts and let him build the world all together. So that's why we come up with the story. And in CropBytes form, the story was very less, right? And we want the players to be connected more into the game. So not no more in terms of gameplay and all that. They want to relate too much into the game, and all these dots, tiny dots, we are actually putting as Easter eggs. They have to connect. That's the only thing we want. And they have to relate a lot of stories. When even after 10 years, if we go back, we need to know what is the starting point of this game, and it has to all relate to form a big lore. So we are actually trying that, and that's the one of the story that we have, and we believe players gonna tell the same story when they're playing the uh, conquest part of it. They'll be building the whole world for the hearts, and they'll be very satisfied building the whole world, watching them work, doing their stuff, and do helping them by just battling it out. And each one have their own satisfaction. Like both part of the game has their own benefits to you can experience. That's what we are trying to build. Like in the both the experience, we don't want you to feel like bored or not doing something. So we want to do, like, we want you guys to experience all the whole thing that we are bringing in. So yeah, basically that's the story behind the whole thing.
Got it, got it. You talked a little about hearts and them being cute, and also hearts work for some reason. Can you just go into a little deep and talk about just the character about this heart?
Like sure, 100%. The thing is, hearts are like a helpless little creature. Like so they are living in a harmony, like we said. So they want to construct their world. So they are helpless. So basically, in the world building system, so we are gonna create all these recipes for them. So hearts will build. You have to manage these hearts, and you have to craft tools for these hearts to make their life easier, and you have to make sure they survive, which means in farm world, everyone who played farm knows there is no negative consequences in the game, right? Which means when you play or you live, you have very tiny consequences of not feeding your cow or something, right? But imagine hearts are like a living entity. So you have to prepare them for winter, we have to prepare them for some disaster, and each of the consequences or choices you make in the game actually have a negative effects inside the game, which means your hearts will get infected, they will lose their happiness. It's like they're tiny entity and you are their god. You can pick whatever choice you want to give them. And all we want to is like build, manage, craft, and make sure they survive in the game, and feed them properly because you're their god entity. And the most important thing for us when it comes to this world and heart building is you have to play in your own pace. Like if you want to experience just sitting there, you have to watch the hearts working, like a relaxing pace environment. But if you want high adrenaline, like a rush, just go for the PvP. Just play the PvP and grind. And again, you have to come to this layer of the loop. But the thing is, whenever you want a calm and if you, when you see a working functional system in a game, right, you'll be immersed. So we want to create the immerse system by you looking into this heart. Make sure you play in your own phase. It's not like we are asking the players, or the players need to work 24/7 inside the conquest. No. Like you have to watch them how they do it, and you will feel like you have to expand your territory on your own pace. It's not like we are pushing you have 1,000 biomes, do it. No. you expand, you connect with the game, like go in your own phase, treat the hearts properly. They have a lot of events that they're happening. They're going to look up to you and ask you to make similar choices into you. They're going to ask some funny decision. We're not going to reveal a lot of stuff, but yeah, they're gonna. It's not. It's a very simplest form you're trying to create when you want to manage something big. So at the end of the day, you're going to create a wonderful world. It's no doubt a beautiful layout. And if you fail to create a beautiful layout, you always can take back and build it again on a proper layout. And we just want you to build the biggest uh, Web3 land, or your own country for that matter, or your own civilization for that matter. And we want you to feel connected to that world. It's not like we are. So that's all we are actually trying about these hearts. So when it comes to hearts, we are gonna make it a little cute and make sure you are not letting them suffer inside the game. Yeah.
Yeah, they've had a pretty bad, like they've had a sad story of how they landed in Nova Islands, and I think it'll be a very heartwarming experience to for players to help them, build their own world and sort of help them continue their purpose in life. And I think that's going to be a very wonderful experience. So yeah, the storyline is really interesting, and the another big uh, part of the whole game is the world building aspect of the game. Can you talk a bit more about that? Like, what aside from the storyline, like what are the gameplay mechanics like? So when it comes to the whole world building thing.
So when it comes to mechanics, we want to keep it for them players to easy to understand. It's not like complex layer, but we want them to understand the primary function of a world building. How do you build a world? We're gonna teach them properly how a housing units operate, how a fishing units operate, how a farming unit operate in a world, and how a civilization grew from smaller. You can imagine a lot of settlers game, right? Like all the settlers game have the same loop of how you're building it, like how do you craft. Some of them have trades, some of them have a lot of surviving capacity, and some of interesting choices. So when it comes to this type of mechanics, right, it's very important, like what amount of resources you need. Will you able to figure out the right amount of resources to build an item? And then comes the management. Can you able to manage all these foods? Like hearts require certain amount of water and food to survive. Are you making all this production line proper? So are you fail to make this production line proper? Or are you making them easier to work? For instance, you can always craft an item for these people to work, or to make them more happy, or to live their life little ease, because you are their god. And for them, you don't they don't know you are their god. They know there is an entity up here playing the whole thing for you, and they are going to ask, my life is very sad because of this, can you help me? We want you to look for these people and create items for them and make their life easier. So crafting mechanisms. And we have also some kind of disaster management kind of thing. So each of the world will always go through some sort of disaster, right? Like it's always a cycle. Disaster is not in terms we are going to destroy the entity. It's like each of them will go up and down. Some in some weather crops will not grow. Are you going to able to get? You're going to give the warning properly. All these mechanism will be implied, but it's up to the player's hand to use the mechanism right. He for to manage the crops properly, and how much he have in reserve, and how much time period the game allocates for for a specific season, and how he actually makes this thing. And some of the mechanism are little automated, so we are not asking the players to actually do every action. So we want to make them no, their work a bit easy, so we are going to make little more automation. Or that our development team is really working on finding some interesting engineering work there, so we were able to get it done. So there are a lot of mechanism in terms of world building is involved. You cannot actually relate farm mechanisms in here, but you may able to get the primary idea from the farm. It's like the chain of production. I have a corn. I made a food, and I gave it to the animals, and I get the extract. This is the primary food chain that we have. I mean, production line we have it in the farm. But similarly, we have multi-layer of production that you have to work for these arts, because what you're trying to build is not just maintaining a form. You're going to build a world, which means what we are trying is 10x of what you're looking in form. So each time you enter your game, you may able to look into a lot of factors repeatedly and analyze, manage, then leave the form. Like proper, like you will be rewarded for your task and properly maintaining the system, and the system is gonna give you the experience that you are actually looking for. That's so these are the mechanism in place.
Really interesting. I think that some of the OG farmers over here would understand some of the economics of having this sort of a game flow, but we are moving way beyond farming alone and bringing in a lot more of other industries and all of the other things that are involved in actually building a world, like you said. So I think it's going to be really interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, while we are talking about the storylines and you know the idea behind it, let's talk about the game development process itself. Uh, Anish, can you take us some of the challenges and milestones that we have achieved so far?
Yeah, sure. So when it comes to development process, we know the community is always looking for us. They want something new, right? And they were asking always. We already the superhero game was in the pipeline, and we want to offer them a bit more of complex, and we want wider audience. So we want to design something very new. So we went for a paper prototype in every session. In both the games, we went for a paper prototype. We played our full game in paper. Like, believe it or not, we have a lot of photos and videos. People got engaged with us. Like the entire team were playing for a full day, and they were like, "Hey, I need a specific type of move. I can actually make the opponent really feel good." So we from the paper prototype, we just moved to an offline prototype. Like we built a digital version of the same paper prototype to understand how each turn works, how other system works, and is it really fair, all the system we need to identify. So we built a digital prototype, and we thought of, okay, the local is fine, but in local it's very hard to predict which information is privileged and which information is common, right? It's like poker. I cannot show you what card I hold. If you know what card I hold, then you fold, right? If I have the powerful card, you hold, which means information is very crucial. So then multiplayer. We want to build the proper multiplayer. So we took everything that we have in the paper plus digital. We know all these data. Then we built the multiplier. So right now we are in alpha stage, which means the major core items are ready when it comes to PvP, but we are actually working above the clock to fix a lot of little bugs and the experience that we are actually looking for. And for a greater user experience, we are spending a lot of time in that right now in that stage. And along the way, the challenges that we faced throughout this process was the game balanced gameplay, uh, because it's like a lot of strategy involved, right? When it comes to strategy, if I think and you think, and if the game makes you feel like your thinking is lower, which means it has to have a reasonable explanation, which means the difficulty, the quantity, and the timing. uh, the difficulty of how the spell is, or the how the move is, how complex the difficulty is, and quantity, how much information we are showing to the player. Is it less, is it far, or is it too much? Like how much information we are showing. So timing, is it the sufficient time we are providing the player to make a move, to make a decision? It's very important for us. So this gameplay in terms of balance, we still have a lot of challenges upcoming, because there are a lot of variation in the gameplay, and some of the permutation we won't even know that emerged at the time. So it will be like a OP standard move for them. And second is game progression. We all know from the CropBytes form, we learned a lot, which means the game has to offer a game progression. Like you have to progress each time you do something. The game has to offer you, give you, or reward you, or make you feel that you achieved something. It's a very important part of the game. So we want to build a big progression system. So every time you win a battle, it will reflect in your conquest or your expansion as possible. Visually, you may able to see your progress properly in the very early stage of the game. It's not like we are going to build the full game and bring all these other systems. Right now, we are trying to build everything from the very start, so we don't miss any XP system, progression system, leveling up, or what are the rewards for this progression. All the system has to be pre-built. And possibilities, please. One of the other challenges that we are facing is the game has too many layers to offer, which means there are a lot of possibilities. So every time we explore this possibility, it's not like a coin toss. It's a head or tail, right? Because we have six permutations plus cards as a permutation, which means the possibility of you getting something or possibility of you making the move is a bit hard, like when it comes to math. So we are actually trying to find this possibility space, whether it's when it comes to fairness. So we are just constantly playing the game for 30 times or 50 times a day, and we are fixing something on this possibility space. Whether it's we are really trying to understand whether it's fair for the player or is the experience we are giving is right for the player. And we are a lot more things to explore in this area, and I think that will be one of the challenges. The other one is the balanced game economy. And from CropBytes form, we learned everything about the economy, and we know how the Web3 operates. So I think our next complexion comes or next challenge comes when it comes to economy. We will be building the proper game economy with a balance cycle, balance reward system, and we'll be rewarding players when it comes to inviting their friend, and it should be fair, and a lot of other spaces as well, right? So everything is connected to an economy. It's not like just because we add it and it's right there. So even the economy should be very proper balance, and it's two games. It's not even one game. The battle is a part of a one big cycle. So we should split this economy properly maintain, and this is the area we are actually seeing pain points. It's one of our challenges, and most of them is like a process. We are trying and we'll do our best to uh, we'll overcome all these challenges to make a perfect experience for you guys. That's all. Like still that's the right now we are in alpha stage, and we are actually in the alpha stage testing. So we'll be open to beta in I think in quite some time, but yeah, it'll be released soon. But yes, we are actually working on the clock to make it possible. And we have to give like kudos to all our development team. Like we are working each and every logic, and they are just simulating the whole system again and again, not to find any mistakes, because each mistake costs us a lot. And even in terms of a game UI mistake, the game will like the players are losing, and we don't want the players to lose simply, right? That's not fair. So we make sure everything is fair inside the game when players are experiencing it. So yeah, that's all the like total
Like
total process for
total
this.
process for this. Loved your insights and the process that you guys have been following building this game. And talking about process, so I think feedback loop from players would is a very important part of building a game. And the team has been building the CropBytes Farms game for over 5 years now, and we've received a lot of feedback on it. Like everyone's on their feet, checking out new features as they roll out, and they have a lot of feedback to share. So how has the player feedback so far influenced in building of the new Conquest game?
Uh, so we know from for our farm game, we've been constantly monitoring all this, as from the design side as well. We want to improve. We have a lot of things in farm as well, right? So we got a lot of key points from farm. Like it's not one or two. We kind of know every player's emotion, and like what are the things they're looking for, and how the game experiences so far. Some of the things we actually keep in line for the farming is still in the development pipeline, and I sure like it will be in reveal later stages. But from the previous feedbacks that we got, there are a lot of problems when it comes to user interface plus balanced mm, gameplay. We often heard farm doesn't provide a lot of gameplay when it comes to gameplay itself. Like you do a particular task and players will leave, right? Like that's one of the feedback we usually receive from through the player. community. We know they want to play more, but the game is not offering. That's one of the crucial element that we are looking to fix. And we know that in this game we have to fix it in the very beginning. So, and we already have everything in right, and fair and engaging gameplay. So, which means the fairness. Each time a single number that changes in the system actually affects the whole ecosystem. So basically, we know what kind of points actually makes this loop go up and down. So we'll be working on that as well. And these are the points that we took very serious when we are even in the pre-production. We know these points that will come up, and it's not because we are designing for players. It's not like we are designing for ourselves to enjoy a particular experience. We are designing for a whole lot of user experience, like whole lot of demographics, and it's like a quite large crowd, like 10K, 18K, 100K, 600K, like a lot of people. So it's like a collective set of behavior. So we know in the previous feedbacks, we know there is no long-term game progression. In terms of their portfolio, yes, there is a lot of progression happening. But in terms of game, each time there is no difference in your form, right? So that is one of the other points we actually took serious when it comes to this cycle, which means each time you do something, there will be a change in the game. You see your system is getting enlarged. You are actually building your empire. You're actually growing. So your virtual land is actually growing each time you do something. All your thing each time you may feel like right now you have very low, but each day you play, each day you make your perfect move, each time you make your perfect decision, your land or your physical world building, I mean your virtual world building is getting increased day by day. You always have more when you play regularly, like not like current in the visual term. We know all these assets you have 1,500 everything in the form, but it's not visually given to the player that says you are like a very big player, right? But in this quest, we are sure every player is recognized by the entire community, and they are got recognized by how they played the game. So we really wonder. And in we got a very less we got a feedback that says we have very less content to play, and in the upcoming game you may able to see a lot of new contents like season based contents, and our team is working on a very good season design right now, and we will be there. And one of the things we want to build is this community engagement. We know it's very effective. Like we know this part of the system is very effective because whatever we do is for this community and especially gamers and players, right? So we know it's CropBytes Farm or CropBytes Conquest. Both of them, we're going to build a beautiful relationship with the players. So from the very early, we'll be building this relationship with the players, and we'll be taking their valuable feedbacks, and we'll be constantly reading their texts because we all do. Maybe the reply is late, but or it will be slow. But from the design side or the development side, everyone knows what the feedback is, and we have a collective system to debate on these feedbacks and what makes this actually perfect. Does it work, or how this whole thing operates? We research, we analyze, and even this time, like from the previous form game, we know our rewarding system for introducing a new player, the game is rewarding significant amount. And similarly, we'll also have some sort of reward system for you guys to introduce other players, and uh, other players introduce other systems. These systems are actually working in all the other games. So we'll be following some recipes here and there from the farming world and playtest. So we kind of have a very good playtest method right now implemented. We are playtesting the game left and right in all these directions, and every possible move. Our game testing team plus our development team plus the design team, even the art team is testing the game, and every one of the team member knows what the game is right now, and they're constantly giving feedbacks. It's not subjective feedbacks, but all of them want to make the things better. So we took all these things factor. We know what is subjective feedback and what is actually an effective feedback for the game to actually look better or feel better. We are actually taking it consider, and we are really implementing it. So these are the system actually we found from CropBytes Farm. So this time or in the upcoming cycles, we'll be using it both for forms as well as the conquest. It's not like we are designing everything for quest. So there are a lot of things for form as well. So yeah. So,
Perfect.
so
Perfect. I think, taking feedback and improving and evolving over the years really takes a lot of, hard work. And like you said, we are already in the alpha testing phase, where we have the test product ready and we are continuously testing it out, trying to, resolve the bugs so that the game is ready for the players as soon as possible. We talked a lot about the game today. We talked about the PvP game style. We talked about thought process behind the game and the overall development process itself. I think for me the best part was how the gameplay is designed, with so many layers where both the players really have to think a lot about their next move, and play with the cards, play with the spell and everything. Uh, so yeah, I think it was really a well thought through game to be developed, and it has a lot of elements. It has its own complexities of a strategy game, which it should have. It has characters, spells, cards, world building elements, and a lot more to unfold, obviously. So to be honest, we are at a very early stage of the conquest journey. We will answer more questions and unlock more information, but all in time. Till then, I think we'll keep on having such AMAs, and we'll keep on answering your questions through our comics. So uh, please be active. Please ask all your questions, all your queries, in the question form. And we are here to support you. We are here to answer all your questions, and we are here to share all the information about the new game. And we're really excited, to share the new game with you. Abhishek, please take over.
Yeah. So, in the interest of time, we're gonna be closing the event now. And if you guys have any more questions, please share them in the chat. And like Chinmay said, we're always here to take them and answer them. And before you guys head out, I would just like to share the password that you can enter in the CB Army app for the mission that is to join this event here today. The password to that is just before ending this, I was really curious to know, since Anish has so much experience playing so many fun games, and like I said, he's a real hardcore gamer with over 10K hours, and not a lot of people in this world can claim of. I think it's a big achievement. And we have the right person on board to be helping us build the Conquest game. So, Anish, I just wanted to know, what has been some of your favorite games growing up, and what sort of games are you playing these days, and which is the biggest game in your wish list today?
So again, 10K hours is still a rookie number, I believe. But yeah,
Yeah.
so as previously, I used to play a lot of competitive games when I was in my teenage side of the game. But now I'm playing a lot of world building, relax sort of games. And one of my favorite right now is Pal World. So I'm building a lot of Pal World right now. Plus, I'm actually playing Apex. Like I know I think from a lot of players from in Asia plays Apex. So if you guys meet any like I'm sure if you guys playing, definitely you guys could have met me. I think I have around 3K hours. I mean 3K hours in Apex, and I'm currently in some Diamond League. Yeah, that's it's again. It's not about brag. It's just we kind of grind with our old teammates, but as age grows, we want to play for only certain number of times. We're not having time to play, man. But soon, yeah.
Yeah, that's quite common. Once you get into serious game development, what ends up happening is you don't have enough time to play your favorite games. So you have to, yeah, I get that. I totally get that. But yeah, exciting times. It's great to have you. It was great chatting with you on this call, and we'll have more of these sessions in the coming weeks. Thanks everyone for joining in, and this is it for today. And like the we have just posted your a link where you can submit any more questions that you may have, and we'll be taking them. Once again, thanks everyone for joining in, and see you guys soon, and happy farming.
Thank you, guys.
Happy farming, guys.